for having me here today at TEDx 2.0 IBA. And so many things that I want to say, so many things that I've planned and prepared. But let's see what I end up sharing today. I started NeuroNurture back in 2019. It had nothing to do with pandemic. I started it before. But I saw that it was needed a lot post-pandemic. My work is not just related to mental health. It is primarily related to mindset and behavior change. I am change-receptive, change-driven individual and professional, and I've been working in various sectors, not only in the corporate sector, but also in the government sector and in the academia. But let's start today, what we have today. While I was helping people with their mindset change, one thing that I came across was that they were facing a lot of struggle in accepting that change. Now, I had recently learned neuro-linguistic programming, and I was very thrilled, and I just wanted to bring that change in that individual. I was making it about myself, and I was not understanding what was the actual problem. The problem was that that individual had so much of unlearned, unidentified, unaware, unconscious blueprint that was not letting him bypass that and achieve that mindset or behavior change. And then that's what clicked me. I am missing the root. How can I bring change when I do not address the root cause? And that's how it started. So if I ask all of you, when do you know you need help? Any kind of help. Mental, emotional, spiritual, physical. When do you know you need help? I know you have answers, but let me share a story or a couple of stories. Someone once visited a psychiatric hospital and asked a nurse there, "So how does it feel to work with the crazy ones?" She said something that brought chills down his spine. She said, "Sir, there are no mad people here. There are only those who did not get help in time." Who are those people? She pointed out a couple of them. For instance, in this room, a former bank manager one day stopped going to work, stopped attending calls, stopped taking messages, went silent for 2 weeks. His neighbors found him in his room, sitting on a chair, staring at a wall, repeating one word over and over. Was he a smoker or an alcoholic person? No. Only a nervous system that could not take it anymore. In another room, a mother of 3, decades of humiliation, decades of silent gaslighting, decades of endurance. One night, she started talking to herself, wiping mirrors endlessly. Her own children brought her here in the psychiatric care. No one called her a hero for enduring all that pain. And the person who was responsible was oblivious to the damage. She shattered from the inside, but there was no wake-up call before. In the third room, she pointed, there was a software developer, a 28-year-old. The person had been working for over 2 years without a break. One more sprint and I'm going to take rest. But that day for rest never came. Instead, one fine morning at his workplace, he leaves the workplace barefoot, forgets his name, and just keeps mumbling to himself when somebody stops him. What does he say? He says, "I'm tired." And that's all. In all these stories, what is common? When did it all start? When did they need help? They needed help way before the trauma hit and the breakdown happened. The breakdown happened in the unconscious mind, showed up in their nervous system, in the body, as acute stress. They all must have felt that the situation was overwhelming, uncontrollable, and unpredictable. And they all faced a dysregulated nervous system. Well, what is a dysregulated nervous system? Seems like neuroscience. Well, it is. A dysregulated nervous system is a state of your body and mind of hypervigilance or hypovigilance. You're you're in a state of urgency, or you're in a state of shutdown. Your response is of either running away or either shutting down, staying quiet, getting silent for good. When that happens in the body, it started with a trigger. When that happens in the body, that becomes your constant state of mind and body. And it will only get better when you are aware of the trauma that it caused. Right? How do we know? Well, you can see signs everywhere. A colleague of yours gets silent apparently all of a sudden. Another colleague stays late in the name of loyalty at work. Another colleague just does not want to leave the room. Or your family member wants to stay in the room. Social anxiety, what is that? All these patterns, and yes, one more major that is nowadays, I'm looking at all these executives, female or male, that they're facing chronic fatigue. They're just tired, so tired. But what is the cause? The cause is a dysregulated nervous system, and the reason behind is your unconscious mind. They both are connected. Now let me give you an example. How does it start? Just a small example. You're walking down the path and you see a dog. Well, if you're not a dog lover, for that person, when you see a dog, what happens in your mind? It triggers a thought. Oh, the dog is going to bite me. The second thing, the feeling, fear, anxiety, panic. The third thing, your choice of behavior. Again, all of this is happening involuntary. You're not choosing any of this. Just happens in seconds. The third thing is your behavior. You either run away or you freeze. Now, and that's all. The dog just passes by. But what happened in the nervous system? Your nervous system learned something that day. The next time you see a dog, whatever you choose that day, for instance, you choose running away, you run away. Now, even if some point in time you like dogs, your nervous system has learned it, that this is threat. Now you see threat everywhere. What is hypervigilance? You're constantly in a state of urgency. You're like, I should do this, and then I should do this, and then I should not miss that, and if I miss that, I'm going to end up doing that, and you never rest. And it becomes a blueprint, it becomes an unconscious behavior, and nobody even points it out. People call you, oh, this guy is good, he gets the work done. But do you know what happens inside his mind and body when he gets the work done? Of course, there is a better way to go about it. If you do the same with a regulated nervous system. Take a little forward. When you have a dysregulated nervous system, what happens in the unconscious mind? A blueprint happens. The architecture is formed. What is that? Of your thinking and of your decisions. It is just one line. It could be, the world is unsafe. It could be, relationships are hard. It could be, I always have to work hard to get something. Things don't come easy to me. It could also be, I have to earn love. I don't deserve it. What are these? These are unconscious beliefs, limiting beliefs and patterns that govern your life. They started with the dysregulated nervous system. And guess what we do? Whenever we face a trigger, we don't let the emotions process it. We try to control that trigger or our response to that trigger. We suppress it. We don't want to show the world that we are weak. We don't want to tell someone that we can't do it. But guess what? That silence is one of the reasons that we suffer, and the amount of suffering that we have, that one day we just snap. And when you snap, your amygdala hijack takes over. Your prefrontal cortex shuts down. You cannot think logically anymore. Nothing makes sense. They're just emotions, 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 and then silence. I was reading an article in Friday Times. It was about the mental health crisis in Pakistan. It also mentioned about the behavior crisis in Pakistan. And it said that it is generational. It is not only developmental, it is generational. It said that the burden is on the youth. It also highlighted that the youth of today, who holds the responsibility to build the future, is far away from reality, is impaired in social dealing, stays in their mind, is dissociated, and has obsessive thoughts or overthinking loops. They have no clue because there is no map or a guide to tell them how to go through this labyrinth of mental health crisis or mental issues. What I want to say today is, I want you all to take this message that it all starts with the one thing, and that one thing is awareness. You all need to bring it to your awareness that trauma is reality, it exists, that stress is the major cause for it, that if we don't speak and suppress, we are going to end up as lifeless individuals in a probably vegetative state, because we won't be able to do anything after that. I want us all to strive towards a country or a society that is striving towards achieving a state of homeostasis. I want you all to help each other find that safe haven by being considerate, by being aware that mental health is for sure an issue, that being a trauma-informed society builds a more future-ready nation that is going to be a more promising future for all of us. Thank you so much, everyone.